Dear learners, welcome to the program. This is Jitendra Singh, Assistant Professor in Media and Communication Studies at Chaudhry Bansilal University, Haryana. We were discussing about the different features of the online journalism, and so far we discussed about immediacy as an important feature and how these online journalism practices have changed, and how these online journalism, new forms of online journalism's practices have evolved during the years, and what are they actually. So I was talking about the different features of this online journalism, and we just discussed about immediacy, and let's quickly switch on to the other feature of this new form of journalism. And the second thing is the interactivity, which is again a very important feature of online journalism. And this is actually audience are engaged through debates. So this feature of the new media gets an opportunity to involve and engage the audience in debates on very important topics and issues of concern for the general public. And we have seen that interactivity is very much possible with these new media platforms. As we can see, when we log on to any website, there comes a number of visitors at the very bottom, and which tells the owner of the website that how many people have logged in. And then there is an option of comment section, where definitely we can comment and definitely tell the owner of the website that what we are looking for and what is our feedback on the content of that website. And similarly, these news websites often creating online polls as during the times of elections also. So they are putting some question, and they are taking the feedback of the people, or they are taking the reactions of the people also. So this is how they engage, they interact with the audience, and this interactivity also helps them to get the feedback of the audience. And sometimes their feedbacks are also not moderated. They are just uploaded within the real time without any filtering or without any editing. And this is and those unmoderated feedback also creates some value to the original report, or may sometime enhance the report, and it happens other way also. So the comments are very important, and they also gives us an indication to who the audience are, who are the readers, and from where they come from. So definitely these comments and feedback, so the interactivity feature is very helpful in understanding the type of audience, and what are they liking, or what they're not liking, and from where they are. And there is a growing tendency to publish user-generated content. And the other feature of this online journalism is hypertextuality, and it has to do with the possibilities of linking journalistic text to other text, which makes the text more transparent and open. So it has been a fundamental characteristics of the new media since its inception, and it also impacts on journalism with the ability to link pages, sites, and documents. Stands out as one of the features that essentially differentiates online news from other media. So this is again one of the important features that differentiates these new forms of journalism, online journalism, from the traditional forms of media or journalism practices, because it gives you text in the form of hypertext, and hyperlinking is also there. So to understand this, let's take an example. When you are reading a story, and if you want to inquire about, or if you want to go into more details, and if you are looking for the background of that story, or the earlier events that are linked with that story and happen earlier. So if you want to go through those events also in a succession, or in a period of time, and if you want to go through those events also, so those events would be available there in the form of hyperlinks. And sometimes the text is also hypertext, when it is an underlined text, which when you move your cursor to that text, you will find that you can understand the meaning of that text, and you will be definitely navigated to a particular web page which tells you about and that particular information, or which will give you or provide you an information related to that particular word. So this hypertextuality is very important and a fundamental characteristic of this new media. since its very inception. And it also impacts on journalism because it has an ability to link web pages, websites and documents, and stands out as one of the important features. So the other important feature is multimediality, which denotes the telling of news with the use of many different modes at the same time. So it refers to the extent to which text, graphics, sound, voice and images, still or moving, means when we say images moving and still, we means visuals, which are translated and integrated into a common digital platform. So this we have definitely discussed in our previous session also, and in the first lecture also, how these technologies are convergent, how these technologies use digital platforms, and how these technologies use different mediums, and they are put together to form a convergent media. And the new media provides an opportunity to journalists to present non-linear type of storytelling by using hypertextuality and multimediality in an innovative way. This is very true that these new media technologies provide an opportunity for the journalist to present a non-linear type of storytelling by using hypertextuality and with the use of multimediality, and this is how they create an innovative way. So it has eliminated the boundaries between the editorial and technical production, because see, the contributors of the news are doing multitasking job. They are writing scripts, they are researching on the script, they are producing the content, they are editing the visuals, they are editing voice, they are doing every work. So earlier these works were done by different technical staffs in television channels or in radio or in newspapers also. So newspapers have an editorial team where the news copy, the news has a flow, and the news copies were edited at several points, at several desks, and at several gatekeeping concept is also there. So this new form of journalism have definitely eliminated these boundaries, and the content teams understand this is again very important feature, that there is a content management team which is there in certain web portals, certain websites which are dedicatedly news websites, and this teams the team members are so efficient that they understand how search engines work, and with respective of the kind of what are the trending topics, what are the news which are getting viral and is trending now, and they drive the site's interactive elements, use multimedia tools for better packaging, and what goes into management of the site. So what is happening is that there is a content management team which frequently not only update the content but also look for the trending topics, also drive the interactive elements of the site so that they can engage the audience in that particular topic and take use of that. And also they are not only just uploading information randomly, or just not only uploading information instantly, but they are also putting certain keywords so that they appear in the search engines also easily. So to get access to the news information, they are putting hashtags, and they are saving every video or every news story with a particular hashtag or keyword so that it is easy to access and easy to search upon, because they understand how people what kind of keywords people are using in the common search engines. So this is again one of the important features of these new media and new forms of journalism. And matrices also tell popularity of story. So we have seen that this has never been before, that when you are at the new media platforms, when you have a website or a news portal, you definitely get the analysis of each and every post you are putting on the internet or on the websites or on these portals or on these outlets, because they tell you the details of the audience, the demographics of the audience, the sex, the age, and everything about the audience, who the people are and from where the people are watching our stories, and what are they liking, how many likes do they have, how many for how much time they are devoting on a particular story, and what age group they are. And so this is very important data for any for any publisher or for any website to understand what age group of people or what area of people are taking interest in their particular content, and other things also. So these matrices were not available earlier, and these every social media site has an analytics parts attached to it, which tells you about all these important analysis and metrics. So user perception guide journalistic news selection also in these new form of journalism. We have seen that the user's perception also tells and guides sometimes to the journalist that what kind of news selection they should do, or what kind of news they should select. And this is how the concept of customization in news have also come. And there are certain new technologies like artificial intelligence, which has been used to understand the user's mind and the user's selection and the choice of content they are looking for on these websites. And definitely there is a crumbling of or ending of journalistic knowledge monopoly. So definitely the monopoly of journalists and their knowledge have definitely been coming to an end with this, because everybody is putting any content, and the people have the authority to put any content, and without any filtering or without any cross-checking. So report and opinions are often mixed here. So this is again a feature when we talk about the changes in journalistic practices, that because people entering to this profession are not professionally trained, they have not taken any degree, amateurs are also coming, and anybody can open any media account and start publishing or start putting news. And so they because they have no understanding of the media practices, so they cannot differentiate between a report and opinions. So sometimes we get opinions and reports mixed. So the intermixing of roles of a journalist and an advocate also made journalism more personal and giving it more a point of view. So in these stories, more point of view is being reflected as the role of journalist, and an advocate is intermixed here, and this has made journalism more personal. And then writing also serves personal cause and more than public cause. So it appears then when you read out those stories on some platforms, you will realize definitely that the stories or these writings are more written for a personal cause rather than they are meant for the public. And there is definitely lack of emphasis on journalistic training. There is no emphasis there is no emphasis on journalistic training also, as I've told you earlier also. So journalists are more of opinion moderator than opinion generator. Earlier we have seen that the journalists were the television journalists or the newspaper reporters used to go to the field and get the opinion of the people recorded, or get the voice of the people recorded on their cameras, and they were collecting and generating the public opinion on certain issues and certain stories. But with the advent of these new forms of journalism, we have seen that journalists are more of opinion moderator here, and they have also become journalism have become more of a desk job rather than a field job. People are contributing and developing stories at the news desk only, and there is a standardization in the daily production also, and stories appear without attribution. This is one of the drawbacks of this media or this form of online journalism, because earlier every story used to have a credibility attached to it. The stories comes with attribution, but in sometimes and in most of the cases it becomes very difficult for a user to understand the source of that information, from where this story comes from and who has contributed this story. So let's quickly switch on to our next topic, which is new media and the areas of change in journalistic work. How the development of these new media technologies have impacted and changed the journalistic practice in the recent years. So the first thing is that with the advent of these new forms of journalism, accuracy is at stake. So accuracy is one of the important features, or one of the important principles of journalism and news practices. So it is the heart of journalistic practice, and it developed out of objectivity, which definitely guides the new journalist before coming to this profession, that how to deal with news and how to be objectivity and how to maintain objectivity in news is an important principle of journalism. And journalism is also capable of depicting reality accurately, truthfully, and based on facts. But this is not happening with the online forms of journalism or these new forms of journalism, because accuracy has been at stake, and because it plays a particular important role, as it forces journalists not only to ground their reporting on facts, but also to check whether the presented facts are true or not. So this is something very serious, and very serious issues of concern, that the reports published on these new media websites or these new media platforms may not be accurate or not accurate, and there is no concept of cross-checking, or the cross-checking is at the end of the users only. The verification and the cross-checking is at the end of the users only. So accuracy is definitely at the stake, and accuracy is again an important standard to determine the quality of the news reporting. So earlier this was a kind of a standard, and this was considered for the news reporting, that how important a news is. If it is, if it is accurate, so it has definitely some value to it. And in online journalism, the immediacy of the news cycle requested a faster pace of publication, and news outlets often adopted to the strategy to publish first and verify second. So this is what happening today, is that with the online journalism, because of the immediacy and the instantaneous updation of news and the news cycle, it demands a faster pace of publication, and because of this faster pace of publication, news outlets are often adopting the strategy to publish first and to verify the facts later on. So constant deadlines compacts the news gathering process, the evaluation of the news also, and the production function. So the new form of journalism have seen that the constant deadlines have compacted the process of news gathering. They have made an impact on the news gathering also, which has become short, and the evaluation have also gone, and the production of the evaluation have also taken backseat, and production functions have also shortened. The facts are published only to be checked retrospectively, and new information is published on the site as ongoing news. So it is what is happening today is that the news broadcaster or the webcasters are just putting the news as ongoing news, and retrospectively they will look after the facts later on. So the facts are published and as an ongoing news, and journalists often do not check the facts before publishing, which they should do, and the responsibility for accuracy is at the end of the source and also the public. And there is also less emphasis on balance and fairness. So balance is also again one of the important features, one of the important principles that guide journalists, that to maintain balance and to take both the sides of the story, to talk about both the sides of the story, and to be fair also. We have to be fair enough in reporting. So there is a less emphasis on balance and fairness. So these principles are also at backseat, and definitely the gatekeeping function of the media have diminished with these new forms of journalism. So the advent of online media have diminished the gatekeeping function. Journalism exists only where there is gatekeeping and some kind of cross-checking and filtering. And the print journalist is a storyteller, and each story demands a series of filters. So definitely we can say that the role of gatekeepers in media have definitely diminished with these new forms of journalism, and the role of editors and their prioritizing news have also vanished. So earlier we have seen in newspapers there was a lot of there was a news flow, and there were the news copy goes to different desks from a sub editor, from a reporter to sub editor, or to sub editor to some other to the editor, or to other desk also. But then there was a concept of gatekeeping, that everybody contributes to that news story, maybe by changing the headline, or maybe by rewriting the story, or maybe by checking the facts, or getting the mistakes done, or checking the mistakes also. And then the role of editor as prioritizing the news, and selecting certain news to go into publication, and avoiding certain news and stopping certain news to before publication. So this kind of prioritizing also have vanished with these new forms of journalism, because there is no they have a lot of space, there is no scarcity of space, so everything can be accommodated if it has certain values to it. So everybody and from any corner of the world can put anything, because of the participatory media and the development and popularity of the participatory journalism, the citizen journalism. These are more pronounced, and this is how the role of editor and and their priorities in news have also vanished. So the online demands that historic role to act as a guide and commentator to primary source. So this we have seen that the role of the online demands that the historic role to act as a guide and commentator to primary source, and the readers become their own storytellers, and the job of gatekeeping is passed from journalists to them. So this is very important, and this is very true, and we can say that the earlier role of gatekeeping and the gatekeeper's role of the media have definitely passed on to the content, the producers of the content, the creators of the content, who are doing multitasking, who are not only just writing scripts, who are not only just creating scripts, or not only creating news stories, they are also editing it, and the gatekeeping is done at their level. So this is how the journalistic practices have definitely changed. So one of the important function of media is agenda setting, and with the advent of these new forms of mass media and the online journalism, there is no space for agenda setting. The new technologies have diminished the agenda setting role of media, as readers have direct access to different sources, especially the primary source of the web. Readers are not interested to know what is happening outside the world or outside the area of their interest, and various news sites offer varying degree of customization. So there was a different kind of a concept when we were reading newspaper. So we have no possibility to skip certain information. We definitely have a glance, or we can have a glance and through that information, but we cannot skip that. But in the new form of journalism and the kind of stories which are put on the websites, they also offer a kind of a varying degree of customization, where they understand the need of their audience, the readers, and they are putting the information of their choice, the news they are willing to find out on their websites, they are looking for on their websites. So they definitely do a customization of news for the readers. And these technologies have definitely changed the agenda, because the agenda setting, the role of media has been changed because the people have the direct access, and the people themselves have their own agendas. They are themselves the creator of the content. So the agenda setting becomes impossible as the readers set out their own agenda. Earlier, when the agenda setting were formed and came into existence, people started working on it and started knowing these theories when they came into being. So they told us that every media, by giving more emphasis on a particular news story or news items, the readers assume that this is an important story. So this is how the new media gives us an agenda. The media gives us an agenda, and people start thinking on it, that this is an important news item, because the media is giving more coverage to it. But now, because the people are putting their stories on because of the participatory journalism, or because of the citizen journalism, and the other processes also, where people are creating different blogs, people are creating different outlets of new media with different websites, or creating news content, they are themselves setting out their own agenda. So the readers can definitely omit any section, they can definitely skip any section of news which they may not be interested in, but otherwise in newspapers they have to glance through it. And then hyperlinks. So just before a few minutes we were talking about the usage of hyperlinks and hypertext, and their important features, and how they have impacted and how they have made this new form of journalism different and unique as compared to the traditional forms of journalism. But these hyperlinking and hypertext have definitely some negative aspects also. So these hyperlinks allow the readers to leave any story in between. So the readers, while reading a news story, can definitely navigate to other page, and they can definitely leave without reading the whole story. They can navigate any time in between, and they can definitely navigate to some other page of information. And but these hyperlinks can also be helpful in giving a better and in-depth analysis on any particular news item or news issue, but only if there are only selective hyperlinks. So this is a very important feature, but if only there are selective hyperlinks, then only these new media have the possibilities to provide the best and the best in-depth analysis on any issue. And then we have seen that during these new forms of journalism, work has become a team-based, and every activity is now planned on online journalism and the different forms of these new forms of journalism. And the routine job of a journalist demands more of a hard work and overtime, because of the news technologies arriving. So a reporter or a journalist working on these new media platforms have to be very technologically savvy, and they have to be a hard worker, and they have to work overtime also. And online journalists are expected to produce sometimes more than 10 stories in a day, which was not happening earlier. And this digital production have made the process faster in terms of quantity, but not in terms of the quality. And technical developments mostly used to increase produced quantity, which I said, and these have definitely developed a new forms of expressions, and decrease in space for individualistic but new space for personal kind of journalism has emerged in the form of media blogs. We have seen that there is a trend of journalists coming from different news media backgrounds who are popular in writing blogs, and they are just putting their videos, they are just putting their information, their detailed articles, long articles on these blogs. So this has given a way to more of a personal journalism, and more emphasis. There are more emphasis on newsrooms, working less time in the field work, doing research. So these desk job have more of research based stories, and the field activities or the field work are now limited, and the reporters are not going into field much, as in case with the online journalism, not with television. But in online journalism, the reporters are preparing their stories at the news desk, and they are doing lot of research on it. And the journalists are not doing investigative journalism, which is actually the real journalism. So with television, we have so many examples. In newspapers also, we have seen that so many important scams and were exposed with newspapers, like Indian Express and other newspapers were given credit for real investigative journalism in India, and other in television channels have also done credible job in this, a very finest job in this. They have done so many sting operations to expose certain people involved in scams and crime, but this real kind of journalism is no more practiced with these new forms of journalism. And there is because of huge flow of information, and which hardly enables them to leave the newsroom, because every time there is a news coming from different platform and from different corners of the world, and they have to just pick it and they have to just upload it. So there is no space for going out for the media persons. And because these new mobile work has also are the new opportunities that the digital tools gives us, new opportunities for the mobile work. But online journalists seldom leave the newsroom, and they use materials collected by other journalists, sources on the net, and journalism becoming more of a desk job in spite of increasing mobile opportunities. So here we come to the end of this session, and I hope you would have definitely understood the concept of online journalism and what are the features and the characteristics of these online and new forms of journalism that makes it different from the traditional forms, and how these new media technologies and these new form of the new media have impacted on the journalistic practices during this period of time. So with this we come to the end, and I hope you must have understood the topic, and please keep watching, stay tuned.